When I saw this, I knew this was it. This was it. I love at first sight. But there, I just heard a scarlet tanager singing. Earlier, we heard a hooded warbler. Hooded warbler says, "Meat too sweet to chew." The scarlet tanager has a real burry, kind of sounds like a robin with a sore throat. You can have a 1 acre parcel and have a special natural area and have all the ecosystem and features that we have right here on this property. Solomon seal, Solomon plume, hepatica, I see all kinds of plants around here. These are all reliant on an understory environment. And of course the most significant flowers here are the grandiflora trillium and the erectum trillium, and there must be 20 acres of them here. If we didn't have the canopy forest, we wouldn't have these flowers. So we have to care for it.
You love the woods, you love nature, you love the just being out around it, and like especially this time of year with the bird migration, so many things that you can just hear, and you might not be aware that, oh, that's a golden-winged warbler, or that's a Baltimore oriole.
The brush piles, the leaf litter, that becomes a winter haven for a lot of animals. In Ohio, I think we have 12 species of butterflies that winter over as adults in the leaf litter. Just to give you an example of the value of everything that's lying in this soil.
When you take the brush from the tree, we pile it up and makes a habitat that a lot of smaller birds like Kentucky warblers, ruffled grouse, owl boxes in the woods. We have bad boxes at the edge of the woods. You always want a bad box facing the southeast.
What are the species of trees that like their feet wet? Because this is a floodplain. So some of those trees might be black walnut, butternut walnut, river birch, sycamore, pin oak, swamp white oak. There's just a lot of species that like their feet wet. So you have to think in terms of, you're just not going to plant a tree, you're going to plant a tree that relates to that environment. On this property there is one natural wetland that's probably 10-20 million years old, fed from an artesian spring. But I've added 2 more wetlands, and it's really amazing. Once you create these wetlands, the wildlife just moves in, and 2 years later you look at this and you think, wow, this looks like it's been here for 10,000 years.
We have a grassland that we keep managed for. There's different parts of it where I mow every 3rd year. There's other parts that I mow every year because some birds like just strictly the grassland, like meadowlarks and the grouse like the nest. They want to be in the woods to have their babies, but they want the grassland to be out in. And then there's other birds that like a little bit of new growth, maybe 2 or 3 years old, and then then you cut those down because you don't want those to become full-fledged trees. So everything we do, there's a reason how the cycle of the mowings and what we do in the woods.
We have become so globalized that we now are introducing species from other countries. We have a lot of invasive species here from Asia and Europe and various places around the world, and some of them were brought here specifically thinking, oh, this is pretty cool, we need to have this. Well, they're invasives. So things like garlic mustard, Japanese knotweed, autumn olive. So I have tried my best to keep those out of this property. And if you don't, they'll take over. Our natural world's in trouble. We need to do everything we can to help, and sharing and teaching is the way to do it. You never stop learning. And I think that's a message that I'd like to convey, is that if you want to understand the ecosystem, it's a constant learning procedure, and you have to really apply yourself.
We're in a bunch of volunteer groups through the parks, so we'll go down there for different kinds of classes or training, and then, but a lot of it is just going out into the woods, you know, buying a book, taking a picture of something, looking it up, seeing what something is, and just...
And also working with a lot of our local agencies, like our Soil and Water and the Forestry Department, you know, telling us about programs about crop release and things like that too.
Grapevine release.
Mm-hmm.
This is all one big huge woods, and the animals, you know, the animals don't say, oh, I'm now on Lisa and Derek's place, now I'm on Marty's place. You know, the animals are like, this is their whole home. So the healthier everything can be. I mean, the long-term goal is to have a healthy woods with a huge diversity of wildlife, somewhere that when our grandkids come visit, it's cool to walk in the woods, it's cool to see the cabins, it's cool to see the orchard. There's a scarlet tanager singing. Did you hear it? That's that bird that Lisa can call. That's him singing right there. Sounds like a robin with a sore throat.
Think big. Look at the big picture. Just don't think about some specific plants or specific birds or specific trees. You need to think about this particular part of the world. How much precipitation does it have? Does it have enough to support a certain species of plants? What are the winters like? Look at the latitude and study that environment. If you get the big picture, then you can start to zero in on elements of that big picture.